Hello friends, welcome to all in a Sushrut Raizadeh official channel. Myself SB Raizadeh, Kekewak Polytechnic Nashik. In this video, we are going to see the gearbox type, that means constant mesh type gearbox. Here you can see the layout or figure of the constant mesh type gearbox. As the name indicates, in this type, all the gears are in a continuous or constant mesh with each other. Selection of gears takes place by additional sliding dog clutches provided on the main shaft. We are going to see the construction and working of the constant mesh gearbox. This figure shows the typical 3 forward and 1 reverse gear configuration. Let us see the construction. First of all, there is a clutch shaft. This clutch shaft is the input shaft. This clutch shaft is the input shaft to the gearbox, and its outer end is connected to the clutch disc. It has a gear machined at its inner end. That means here you can see the gear A is machined to the clutch shaft, and that gear is meshes with the respective gear on the lay shaft. That means gear B is meshing with the gear A. Okay, now second construction is that the lay shaft. The lay shaft is freely suspended in a bearing which is mounted on the transmission case. It rotates freely and with the help of a bearing which is mounted in the transmission case. And this lay shaft has a gears rigidly mounted on it. That means gear B, E, C and gear G. These gears are mounted rigidly on the lay shaft. Now main shaft. It is the output shaft of the gearbox. It has splines cut across its length to accommodate axial movement of sliding dog clutches. It provides the axial movement of these dog clutches. Okay, so its outer end is connected to the propeller shaft through the universal joint. Now next construction is that bearings. Generally, taper roller bearings are used in this gearbox. Here it is not shown, but taper roller bearings are used. These bearings are required to take a radial and thrust loads during the gear engagement. Okay, the radial or thrust load which are produces due to the gear engagement, these loads can be uh, taken by the taper roller bearings. Now reverse idler shaft. Here the reverse idler shaft is provided, and on that the gear H, which is reverse gear, is mounted rigidly. Okay. Now next are the transmission gears. Though so in sliding mesh gearboxes, generally spur gears are used. But in a constant mesh type gearbox, the helical gears are used, and these gears are grouped into such that the gears on a clutch shaft, the gears which are on a clutch shaft, that means gear A, is rigidly attached or machined to the clutch shaft. Then gears on a lay shaft, that means gear B, gear E, C and gear G. These gears are rigidly mounted or machined to the lay shaft. Then gears on a main shaft, that means gear F, gear D and gear I, these gears are free to rotate on a main shaft. Okay, and the gear on a reverse idler shaft, that means here the gear H, which is reverse gear, is rigidly attached to the reverse idler shaft. Okay, now let us move towards the sliding dog clutches. So these sliding dog clutches are the special couplings with a dog teeth provided on its either side. Here you can see dog teeth are provided, and these dog clutches can slide on this splined main shaft. This clutches engages with the respective gears which are on the main shaft. Here you can see gear F, D and I which are on main shaft can be engaged with the dog clutches. Okay, so by sliding on the main shaft, these dog clutches can be engaged with the gears. So now next is a selector mechanism. The selector mechanism employed in a similar to other gearboxes means by selecting the gears you can engage the dog clutches with the gears on the main shaft. Okay. Now next construction is a transmission case. So transmission case which provides the support for the bearings and the shafts in the gearbox. As I said earlier, the lay shaft is mounted in the bearing, and that bearings are mounted in the transmission case. Okay, and this case also provides an enclosure for a lubricating oil. It is generally made up of a aluminum so that we can reduce the weight of the gearbox. Now, this case has a vent at its top surface to ensure the atmospheric pressure inside the gearbox. Now, let's see the working of the gearbox. Okay, so let's consider a first gear engagement. So, for engaging a first gear, when we move the lever towards the first gear, then dog clutch P, this dog clutch P engages with the gear D. That means this dog clutch P will shift towards the left, and by shifting left it will engage with the gear D, so that the power from the gear C can be transferred to the gear D, and from D to the gear P, and P to the main shaft. Okay, so let's see how the power is transmitted from clutch shaft to the main shaft. So when the power from the clutch shaft, the power from the clutch shaft is transmitted to the gear A, because gear A is machined to the clutch shaft. From gear A, it is transferred to the gear B, as gear B is engaging or meshing with the gear A. From gear B, it will transfer to the lay shaft. Okay, so as all the gears are rigidly mounted on the lay shaft, therefore all gears will rotate. So from gear B, the power will transmitted to the gear C, and from C to the gear D, and from gear D, the power will transmitted to the gear P, as P and D are engages or meshes with each other. After this, from dog clutches, the power will transmitted to the main shaft, and from main shaft to the propeller shaft. Okay, so this is how the power will get transmitted from clutch shaft to the main shaft for the first gear engagement. Okay, and gear ratio G1 will be NA upon ND. NA upon ND equal to TD upon TC. TD upon TC. Okay, this will be the TD upon TC into TB upon TA. This will be the gear ratio. Okay, TD upon TC into TB upon TA. So now this is the first gear engagement. Now second gear engagement. So to engage the second gear, dog clutch P is disengaged. Then dog clutch Q is shifted towards right, such that it engages with the gear F. So power will get transmitted from gear E to the gear F, from gear F to the dog clutch, and from dog clutch to the main shaft. So let's see from clutch shaft how it will get transferred to the main shaft. So from clutch shaft, the power will get transmitted to the gear A, from gear A to the gear B, from gear B to the lay shaft, and from lay shaft to the gear E, and from gear E to the F, F to the dog clutch, and from dog clutch to the main shaft, and main shaft to the propeller shaft. This is the power flow in a second gear engagement. Okay. Now for this, the gear ratio will be, let's say, G2 equal to NA upon NF. NA upon NF. This means gear A and F. Output shaft is F and input shaft is A. Input gear and output gear F. So NA upon NF equal to TF upon T, TF upon TE into TB upon TA. TB upon TA. Okay, this will be the gear ratio for the second gear arrangement. TF, TE, TB, and TA. These are the teeths on the gear F, E, B, and A. Okay. So let's move towards the third gear, that means top gear. So for top gear engagement, to engage the third gear, dog clutch Q is shifted towards the left. So it is made to engage directly with the gear A, as the power is transmitted from clutch shaft to the gear A and gear A to the dog clutch and from dog clutch to the main shaft. Therefore, it is also called as a direct drive. So from clutch shaft, the power is directly transmitted to the main shaft and main shaft to the propeller shaft, because dog clutch is engaging with the gear A, which is mounted on the clutch shaft. Okay, this is the power flow of the top gear, that means third gear. Now let's see the reverse gear. To engage the reverse gear, all other dog clutches are disengaged, and then dog clutch P is shifted towards the right, so that the P can be engaged with the gear I. By engaging with the gear I, it will rotate in a reverse direction, so that vehicle move in a reverse direction. Okay, so let's see how the power will get transmitted. So from clutch shaft, the power is transmitted from A to the B, from A B to the lay shaft, from B lay shaft to the gear G, from gear G to the H, H to the I, from I to the P, and from I P to the main shaft, and main shaft to the propeller shaft. Let's see how the clockwise direction is converted into the anti-clockwise direction. Okay, so when the rotation of the clutch shaft, let's assume the clockwise rotation is there for the clutch shaft. So when the gear A is rotating in a clockwise direction, then gear B will rotate in a anti-clockwise direction, so that lay shaft also rotates in an anti-clockwise direction, and gear G also, because gear G is rigidly mounted on the lay shaft. Now, the anti-clockwise rotation of the gear G will get converted into clockwise rotation, because H is engaging with the G. Then the clockwise rotation of the H will get converted into anti-clockwise rotation of the gear I, because H is engaging with the or meshes with the I. So anti-clockwise movement or rotation of the gear I will get transferred to the gear P, which will also rotate in the anti-clockwise direction, so that main shaft will also rotates in an anti-clockwise direction. Okay, so anti-clockwise direction. So now, by engaging the dog clutch P with the I, we can move the vehicle in a reverse direction, or we will have a reverse gear engagement. Okay, so the gear ratio for the gear ratio for the reverse gear will be, let's say, GR, gear ratio, GR equal to NA upon NI. That means NA is the input shaft and output shaft is the I gear. Sorry, A is the input gear and I is the output gear. So NA upon NI equal to TF upon TE, teeth on the gear F and teeth on the gear E. Sorry, Ti upon TH TH into Ti upon TH into TH upon TG TH upon TG into TB upon TA TB upon TA. This will be the gear ratio for the reverse gear. Okay, so now this is what the working of the construction and working of the constant mesh type gearbox. Now let's see advantages of the constant mesh gearbox. So since gears are in a constant engagement, helical gears can be used. This is the first advantage. Second is with the use of helical gears, the noise produced during the operation is reduced. Third advantage is that wear and tear of a dog teeth is reduced because all its teeth are in a contact during power transmission as against the 2 to 3 teeth in case of a sliding mesh type. Okay, these are the advantages of the constant mesh type gearbox. Now, disadvantage. So first, for a smooth engagement of a dog clutches, it is necessary that the speed of sliding dog clutch and a main shaft are equal. Hence, to engage a low gears, speed of clutch shaft should be increased. This is called a double declutching. This is the first disadvantage. Since all the gears are in a continuous mesh, some amount of power is wasted in overcoming a friction across all these engaged gear pairs. Okay, this is the second disadvantage. And the gearbox is costly due to the addition of a sliding dog clutches in this system. Okay, so this is the construction working advantages and disadvantages of the constant mesh type gearbox. Thank you.